I give up. I don't know how I am going to weld this car by myself. Have I done it before? No. Never seen it, never done it. I don't know, but I will do it. Why? I don't know. I have a tendency to try everything myself, as I did with my Corrado, but I didn't do the bodywork with that. Okay, actually I do know why we're doing this. This is Otmar Alt Edition Golf. There were only 1,000 ever made. This is like an artist collaboration Golf. It has cool stickers, cool interior. Go watch the first video I had. By the end of this video, this should be in here and stay by itself with my weldings. Do you believe it? Oh my god, send help. As you can see, the old sill is already taken out with the side panel. The initial thought was to change the inner and outer sill with the sheet between and all the floor panels, but since I'm welding it now, we got back to work and doing things I could be capable of starting with. So how beginner am I? Well, I had to find my way using tools to get all scrap metal out, and I had some fun. Then I cleaned everything to shiny smooth surface. You don't want any rust under the welds. And cleaned the new sill too, because it supposedly has some zinc layer which could interfere welding. And then I got the new sill. This sill was reaching to this point, but since this is a thin material and it may bend more with the welding heat, so it seemed reasonable to go with this line and cut this off, and I did. I don't like these tools at all. I don't like the sparks. It's rough and I don't know how to do straight lines yet. And it's kind of sitting there nicely. And now we have to put this sill on. I have to put that panel on, and then we're gonna go and get the door and put it in and see what needs to be tweaked more. So I struggled a lot with this panel. It's taken out too harshly, and for a car body technician it isn't a problem, but since I'm now doing everything, it was quite a challenge for me. And if you're asking, do I know what I'm doing? No. Everything was new to me, but also that much more exciting. And the worst thing that can happen is I have to do it all over again. Now why would you say that? Because I did do it all over again. I put the door in place with the fender and door seal. Everything was sitting nice actually, but then I got knocked down from my heaven. I have to take out all the dash stuff, including wires. electrics. It was interesting figuring out where in what order to take away. At first I hoped I could get away with the dash cross member and the heater stuff. Found some things along the way. But then it occurred to me that when welding the floors in any way it would make sense to get rid of all the wiring, plus the wires need some lookup anyway. What have I done? Oh my lord. Who is going to put that together? I'm a big system gal and this is what I created. This has the Estonian alphabet on it and I almost ran out of it. But we needed to do it because I needed to get to this part here, which is scrambled. I needed to reach this part to kick it out straight again and then weld it. This is very flammable, so I could not done it when everything was in. So, but what? Euro? What the hell? Okay, maybe there's more. No, but yeah, now I can kick this one in and let's go. You don't need to take this apart to change the sill thing. You can just cut it off right about there and it saves you a hell of a lot of work, which I'm about to do. I have to put this new something to strengthen it up, a new bar welded here, because otherwise the car maybe start to making noises you don't want to. And with that thing, I think it's the same. If I don't properly weld it like it was from the factory, then it maybe start to make some noises that we don't want the car to do when we drive. This is quite the bullshit. I have to get this panel on here, but I can't get this panel on here before I had this sill on, but I can't get this sill welded before I have this welded on, because I need to put doors in there and then we get this sill. I don't know. I'm thinking of something to make one more cut right about here, so I can get this panel on. I can press this thing back straight. We can put the door on and then I can put this sill welded on and then I can put this back on. Well, this is shit. Then I thought it was time to practice. I honestly don't understand the thing. I made it hard for myself too by creating lifelike situation where the surface is not perfectly clean, to get the idea of how it burns through, what settings do I need and how to avoid it. I don't think I got it, but by hearing the settings itself were fine, and I got a lot smarter at least this one crucial thing. Okay, let's give it a go. I'm now much smarter. For example, this one has to go on the thing you weld, like when you weld the car, then this has to be on the car, on the bare metal, some kind of like the door hinge, the other part, the car part. And when like I did tested on the floor this and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, and then I was told that you need to put the mass on the thing you weld. So basically this would have to be on the part, and then I can weld this. Yeah. And today I watched a video where I learned why is this, because the weld, you give the electrode, it's going to like circulate from the welder through this sheet, through this to the machine and back on, like some kind of idea. So now I get why this has to be on the thing you weld. Like pro. To clear up my stupidness, I didn't see that cable on the little parts in any video, but then I was asked if they welded on the metal table. Yeah, they did. My first ever thing I put on a car and welded apart, and it stays on. This is the first wing. You see the red stuff on parts? It's Novol's bodywork primer, which you can weld on. It's anti-corrosion primer and perfect for long-term projects, because it said that the corrosion inhibitors last about 6 months, and you can add the epoxy layer within that time without any sanding. Hopefully I will fit the priming in that time frame. But there's a but. Maybe it's true, maybe not, but I was said that this 1-2 phase welding machine is very sensitive to any layers of chemicals, that it works better on clean steel surface, so just in case I cleaned the spots I was welding. Much better. I should use some self-tapers, screws, yeah. And that part over there had a big hole, and it was better to change the whole thing, which meant first time cutting and fitting, and those are the things I'm not very good at. So there were caps. Basically, I turned a smaller hole into a bigger one, and it started to go downhill from there. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling like I can't do it. It's a hard job to do for the first time. Everything is bent and holes everywhere, rust everywhere. And well, this is the hardest part. And they say that welding cars is a whole different story than welding some other metal constructions. But this is the first thing I did myself on the car, but this is the first thing I have had to put into a piece to make it fit. It's not easy. There's some kind of thing in the way, but I can't figure out what it is. And of course, my welding quite the gap in there, and I don't know. I feel kind of defeated. I started the day with enthusiasm and let's go do it, and I kind of did it, but well, it's my first job, I have to remember that. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So Not to make this video longer than it's supposed to be, I think I'm gonna cut it right here. I know I said at the start that I'm going to show you welding. I'm going to show you that I welded this the sill, but let's take things up where we left off. And it was about here. It's the next day. I gave it another try, and I am officially saying I give up. I don't know how to do it. Started off nicely, but then here and here and here and here, I can't fix the holes, and I don't know how. I need at least someone to show me how to do it, if it's possible at all. I believe it is, but I can't do it. Ask and you shall receive. That night I got help I needed, and the next day I was much more braver. The butt welds are longer, I'm not so afraid of the flame. I supported my welding hand close to the tip and could lead the wire and started to see what the wire is doing. I cleaned the surface for a better weld, and most important, I started to see the progress, because it felt like in a loop already. Done! Yes! Look at it! Not perfect for a welder probably, but damn perfect for me. This is my 6th day, I believe 6th day when I'm welding at all in life. And it's done! Well, this is start only. But what a difference does it make when someone is coming right time to save you. Yeah, luckily yesterday someone helped me to get the holes intact, and it was hard because I used too thin layer of steel, and plus the rust, it is extremely hard even for the welder. Under here too, it was hard. And today I got a little help pressing it on the car to get a nice contact, and but I did all the tacks myself. Damn. Then I had a side quest with doing an end tip for the sill on the car part to put the sill onto something. I made this. And now for the silver. Finally. Yeah, what she said, finally. As a habit already, doing things and then undoing them, I cleaned the welding parts, measured the spot welds, but there were very little of the original spots left because someone had already changed the sill once and not very good doing so, if I do say so myself. Drilled 7mm holes, put it on the car with the door, and here we are, almost at the finish line, at least with the one sill. I just need to get this cap to be even, get it as perfect as I can, and well, everything else can be done with the putty, although I wouldn't want that, but for the first job like that I will take it. So let's go. And I did. For several days. It is so time consuming. I started it in the middle and moved outside and butt welded it stuck, which means that I connected two pieces of metal end to end and sat them together. Then started to grow the welds from the butt welds, moving and cooling. And then grinded some off to see how I did and if there's any pinholes. Then I did some spot welds, which are the factory line welding spots, meaning welding two sheets together and applying pressure and heat to get them stay together. The sill is on, practically on. It's not easy at all. I had so many meltdowns and so many give-ups, mainly in my head. Every time I welded a hole, I was just like, oh, why? They are so hard to fix. And I did practice the next day. Took 2 same thickness sheets, drilled holes in one layer and started to test. Firstly, I left the settings the same and spot welded the same as yesterday to see if it really was too weak connection. And it was quite frightening to see how easy it was to take the welds open, which meant that there are some of these on the card too. Luckily, as I said, I didn't get to do them many the day before. So I started testing how much power do I need and how long I have to hold it to get through the other side. And it takes surprisingly much. What I mean by that is when I take one sheet, then weld through nicely. But when I take 2 sheets and drill a hole in one, it seems like I still have this one sheet, just I have to get the edges together. And I'm afraid to burn through the layer under the hole, but that isn't the case. It seems like this. The spot weldings need more heat. I think I found the good settings. Well, we'll go like this and I will use this mirror hack again. Have you ever seen such a wise person? I just have to say I am so proud of this. This is so even. Okay, I hope that I didn't celebrate too early. And I can already say that at the end of the work I was said that the sound is right and I'm doing it correctly, but crank up the voltage a notch, so that the spot welds wouldn't be so high. I'm wasting the wire basically, but all it does is I have more grinding to do, but know that higher voltage. I think I had 3.8 wire speed and 15.2 voltage. Later on I cranked it up to 15.8 for the spot welds. Today I got the settings right, sound was right, I got the practice right and everything was going well and I was so enjoying this and forgot about time. I'm almost done. There's a little welding to do, there's a lot of grinding to do and then I have to look what spots need some welding more. I continued it the next day and then I could proudly say I welded this. How many times I have tried to end this video, always staying at the halfway, but yeah, this is pretty much finished. Some grinding need to be done on the butt welds, but yeah, we are here, it's done, I did it. I welded it with a little help, but the sill was all mine. And what did I learn? Well, first, put your mass or the earth cable on the thing you weld on and put it as close to the welding point as you can. It's a better connection. Then practice on the scrap metal because surprisingly much voltage need to be in here to go through two sheets of metal, but under here it's 3 even. So yeah, try this on the scrap metal. For 3, don't be afraid of the little flame. I was at start. It's funny to look back on the videos. I just zapped and as soon as some smoke came I was already with the air like panicking a little. But yeah, then I saw how a welder does this and he just went full on with this, and after that I was much braver. So yeah, don't be afraid of the flame. The CO2 that's coming out of the welding gun is putting the flame out too. Use some wire brush and air and you're good to go. For the beginner it would be easier to overlap the sheets. I prefer to make things even and then fill in the gap, but filling in the gap is much harder there's going to be much burning through. Your nerves are being tested. But if you have to weld a hole intact, best would be to replace the whole part, the hole, and if you can't, then use a copper or aluminum plate on the other side of the hole if you can. If you can't, then you just have to like spit it full. And a good way to do it is if you hold the wire further away, then it's just start to spit it like and grow it to be full. And there's definitely much more, but yeah, I think those are the first things I learned on the first time doing this. Learn your machine and practice. This is the main thing. Use your protective gear too, and don't put your feet under the thing you're welding. I have a few socks with holes in it now, and a few scars also. But the price you will pay. So here it is. I think it took me 10 proper working days, all of this, and I don't see why you couldn't do it. So if you're interested, give it a go. Maybe you got some hints, but look videos, look tutorials, read about it, and ask someone to show you so you can hear and see how it really works. It helps a lot. It helped me. But maybe I inspired you some ways to do things, and I'm going to continue with floor bands. As you can see, I'm already going to do it today, and soon will be a video about this. No, I'm not going to promise soon. It's so big work, and it will take time for me. So I'm gonna wrap this up. The goal of this video was filled. The seal is on. I'm happy, I'm proud, and thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and tell your friends about this channel too. I would appreciate it very much. And take care. Bye.